Gentleman yields, Mr. Stauber.
Thank you very much. Mr. Spear, I really appreciate you bringing up the fact that crashes involved, many crashes are a result of automobile drivers with texting and what have you. We have to recognize the danger of that. And I think that our professional truck drivers across this country see it every day, and it's horrendous. Having been a former police officer, I was to many violent crashes because of the inattentive drivers and texting. So thank you very much for bringing that up. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge that this is National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. Our truck drivers are critical to our supply chains. They keep our economy afloat. They work around the clock to ensure that we want for nothing. And I am thankful to all of our truck drivers, not just today, but every day, for their professionalism and their safety on the roads. You know, as we talk about automated trucking, it is important that development of this technology, I believe, must be done in consultation and coordination with our truck drivers. They have years of experience driving millions of miles and certainly know what is needed for safety. Now for my question. Truck driving provides a great income and it's a great profession. We have many truck drivers in Minnesota, but what would you say to someone who is concerned that this technology will limit their employment opportunities in the future? Mr. Spear?
I'd point out that we have a responsibility as an industry now moving 72.5% of the domestic freight in this country to meet economic demand. We're consuming more. We're adding more people to our economy that are going to buy more goods, and we have to move those goods. So as that gap grows between consumption and our industry's ability to move those goods to where they need to be, we have a gap. We have a gap of talent that we need to add. And if we can't add people behind the wheel, there is a role for innovation to play without displacing anyone. So I don't look at this through the lens of displacement. I think there's plenty of room for innovation to solve problems, improve safety, improve performance, quality of life. These are all good things for our workforce to grow into.
So, Mr. Spear, you would look that professional Minnesota truck driver in the eye and say, you will not lose your job because of automation?
I would. I wouldn't hesitate. In fact, I think it's going to empower that driver. Certainly, levels 2, 3, 4 are going to make them more marketable, give them better performance. These are all exciting inroads that we want to see in our industry. If we were flooded with drivers, if we had an abundance of people behind the wheel, we would be having this conversation very differently than we are today. But I do believe there's a role for innovation to play without displacing those drivers. I'd look them in the eye and tell them, you've got nothing to be concerned about.
Thank you. Truck driving in Minnesota and many of the northern climates the weather changes suddenly. We can be in Minnesota and all of a sudden the snowstorm hits like immediately in black ice. And you're smiling, Mr. Spear, because you've been there and you've heard the driver say that. And that's in all the northern climates. But I know we're still early in the stages, but where does this technology stand with varying weather conditions like icy roads in northern Minnesota or black ice or fog right away? Near Lake Superior, the fog can come in and you can't see 20 feet in front of you. Where do you see that technology fitting in?
I think it's an evolution. I mean, technology is going to evolve. I'm smiling because I'm from Wyoming. I've been to Minnesota too. We have the exact same. We have 2 weeks of really good weather, and the rest of it is hit and miss. So.
We have one great week.
Yeah, one? Okay. Well, we got 1 week on you. But look, I think there are a lot of variables beyond that wind, high wind. There's a lot of variables that have to be taken into account. I think what these gentlemen are demonstrating is that they're properly testing this in environments that are conducive to the technology as it stands. We're running lanes in the Southwest. It's a very good environment from Texas to California to test this equipment. And as it evolves, as it gets better and the performance can take into account these weather variables, you're going to see more of it operating in states like ours. But I defer to them on that. But I think they're doing this responsibly. They're doing it with government, hand in glove to make sure that we're getting it right and we're not putting anybody on the motoring public in jeopardy. So I think it's an evolution.
And I think that it's comforting to know that you're bringing the professional drivers into for consultation and advice. I think that's a very good way to move forward. So I yield back. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.